Hey everyone, guess what? We've got the new Mac Mini here in the studio. This is the brand new M4 Mini Mac Mini. Like, the Mac Mini is now so mini, it's almost the size of one of the Apple 4K TVs. It's wild what they've been able to pack into this. This is also one of the first carbon neutral Macs to be produced by Apple. So this is pretty exciting on an environmental front. And also for those of you who have been wanting a new Mac Mini, well, it's here and we're gonna check it out. This is so exciting. It's so mini. Can't believe what they've managed to do with this thing. Let's see what else we have in the box. A power cable, and that's it. Apple has definitely given up on stickers. Like, they haven't said they have, but sometimes you can say a lot without saying anything. So this has 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports. We've got an HDMI port. We've also got 2 USB-C ports. And this is 5 inches by 5 inches by 2 inches, and it weighs 1.5 pounds. We also have a 3.5mm headphone jack and an Ethernet port. And drum roll, please. The power button on the bottom. So when I watched the first keynote, when they announced this, I was like, well, maybe you could just kind of like put your finger under it and kind of reach it. No, you can't. That is, I would say, unfortunate for people that maybe have this kind of like in a server rack mount, because yeah, that's, I don't know. I actually never turn my computers off. My PC, it just goes to sleep. My studio, it also just goes to sleep, and I just restart them every so often when it feels like they need it. For the most part, I think turning off your computer nowadays, it's not really a thing. And hopefully it's not, because the power button's on the bottom. So I have some plans for the Mac Mini. My sister and I have a podcast that we are very bad at doing, but we have been wanting to reboot it this year. We didn't do that, but next year it is our year. So I want to use this to hook up our sound mixer and basically have everything be recorded directly onto this. All right, enough chatting. Let's go set it up. Podcast room transformation time. So the Mac Mini is gonna go over here along with the studio display. So right now there's just a bunch of the podcasting stuff that needs to be set up. My sister and I sit here. We're gonna have 3 iPhones set up using Final Cut Camera, and all of this running through the Rodecaster to the Mac Mini. This little Mac Mini has been completely redesigned to be even more compact and efficient. And it certainly is holding up to the Mini name, finally. I mean, this is like super mini. It's wild to think that this entire little box is a full desktop computer. There are a few configurations that vary in price, but the base model with the M4 chip starts at $599, while the M4 Pro starts at $1399. The new Mac Mini features a redesigned thermal architecture where the air is guided to different levels of the system to keep it cool and quiet even during intensive workloads. In the M4 Pro version, there is an option to tune your system to high power mode for more performance. Check out my M4 MacBook Pro video to see that in action. Now, depending if you choose the M4 or the M4 Pro will determine how many displays you can actually connect. M4 supports up to 3 externals, 2 displays with up to 6K resolution at 60 Hz, and 1 display with up to 5K resolution at 60 Hz over Thunderbolt. Mac Mini with M4 Pro supports up to 3 external 6K displays over Thunderbolt or HDMI. Now, the current model that I'm testing here is the M4 with 10-core CPU and GPU, 16 gigs of memory, 512 gigs of storage, and I will say that 500 gigs of storage for me and most of my projects will be challenging, but because this has so many options for connectivity, I'm easily able to use external drives for larger projects. So if you are looking to cut costs, know that that is always an option. For this review, we are taking the Mac Mini into the podcast studio. Fun fact, the reason that we even started our podcast is I was doing a review of the new iPads during the pandemic, and Apple kept saying that you can record an entire podcast on your iPad, and I was like, can you? Can we do that? So our first episode was recorded on an iPad, and here we are again, the Mac Mini being the motivation to reboot it. For this setup, we're gonna be using the Final Cut camera for multiple angles of the shot. Now what's great is I'll be able to use this iPad to monitor our video feeds while we're filming if we don't happen to have a videographer that day. I love creating setups that can be self-sufficient, although it definitely is easier with help, not gonna lie. We'll just go like this. This is not safe at all. So be very careful.
Not a trip hazard.
This is temporary.
Let's fix.
Well, I think this is great. We have our audio going into Logic Pro while also recording onto the Rodecaster as a backup. And all of the cameras are set. What's cool about Final Cut Camera is it will make an entire multicam project from the shoot that we just shot. And it'll be super easy to edit. Since I did record the audio separately, once we bring this into Final Cut, we can sync up the audio in this multicam clip and we are ready to go. Now what's great is we also use PostLab to create shared libraries between editors. So once I have this timeline, I will upload it to PostLab, send Tyler a note that it's ready to edit, and he'll already have a head start. I did do a little test editing here on the Mac Mini and it felt really fast. Everything was smooth, there was no lag, and it just felt great. So for me, I'm so used to working off of my top of the line MacBook Pro that it truly didn't even feel like I was missing a beat while scrolling on the Final Cut timeline or editing photos in Lightroom. With the latest version of macOS Sequoia, we're now getting some of the Apple Intelligence features that were promised during the announcements. With this version, you can do most of the writing tools like summaries, we've got new Siri, and most importantly, the image cleanup. You could also use the natural language search to help find things quicker in your photo library. I have absolutely loved using this. It's been so fun to kind of search through and relive memories that I kind of thought were just gone. Being able to search your photo library with these context clues has just been, it's a dream. It is something that I've been wanting forever. And now that we have iCloud photos in our libraries from years and years and years, it really does make it almost impossible to scroll back and find things without this. Now, since the release of the Studio Display in 2022, it has been my favorite monitor. Even though I do have the high-end XDR displays, there's something just so great about this one. With its built-in camera, 27-inch 5K Retina display with 600 nits of brightness and nano texture, it makes it the perfect companion to the Mac Mini. And it's also a perfect fit in our podcast studio, and now a second editing station. So this was the timeline that we're working with on the iPad. Everything is mirrored over here. It's identical, and I can start editing just as I would, hitting the keys 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time I hit one of those, that switches which camera. Multicam editing on Final Cut Pro is just a freaking dream, and I love it so much. We can see all 4 of our cameras there, and as we play, we switch between them. I think this is the new way to go for our podcast. Let's just remember this is the baseline M4 Mac. There is also the M4 Pro. So what's really cool is this has been running super seamless. And this is something that you can get pretty much as an entry level. I've been able to use Lightroom very successfully, super smooth. I was able to edit in Final Cut Pro. And now I just want to test out some gaming just to see. It's for research. The frame rate on here looks really good. I mean, everything is running very smoothly. Let's just make it look a little better, shall we? Now we're talking. Oh, what are you guys doing? Oh, geez. They're eating a carcass. What is happening here? So since I made the changes, I can see like the reflections and stuff are a little bit more clear. Everything just kind of looks a little bit better. And it's handling it perfectly. Oh, is this a purse? Oh, it's Mia. That's Mia, isn't it? Can I dump it out? I'm scared. I can't see anything in there. I shut the door. Did I shut the door? Oh, hey, watch your language. So there's a first look at the new mini Mac Mini with M4. I know many people have been waiting for this for a while, so I'm so excited to get a chance to see this in action. Now, if you want to see my M4 iMac and MacBook Pro videos, you can go check those out as well. Let me know what you think about all of these new devices, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!